Hi everyone, this is Jason Zach from Nathaniel School of Music. In this lesson, I'm going to show you 5 simple ways to make your chords colorful. That would be your regular major chords and minor chords for the most part. We'll stick with just major and minor, not diminished, augmented, and not the sevenths. But we are going to make it colorful without and deliberately without extensions. I usually get asked this question by a lot of my students. How do I make this major chord? What sevenths? What theory should I use? What is a ninth, 11th, and what are jazz chords and so on? Well, we have a lot of videos on that which you should also learn. We have talked about nines, 11s, modal embellishments and so on. But in this lesson, we are going to keep it very simple. We are just going to stick diatonic, not do 7th chords, 9s, 11s. There's not going to be a 7th. But the way we cleverly play our chords is what we are going to explore today. How to actually revoice the notes, maybe how to just start simple, and then starting simple and building from a simple stage can get you to compete with the guys who are learning chords in the 7th theory textbook way. So a lot of these techniques which I'm sharing with you may actually not be in a theory textbook, and I've had to come up with my own words for some of them. But it's something not only I use in my music, in my compositions and performances, but it's also something I hear other great pianists using, like Elton John, Billy Joel, Norah Jones, and the like. They actually play chords like this, and even pianists who are just starting off but who learn in a non-textbook way tend to gravitate towards these styles of playing chords. Okay, so to make the lesson about a bit more interesting, hopefully, I'm going to do a variety of songs, so I hope you'll know them. They'll be simple stuff which hopefully YouTube doesn't take down, but we'll experiment and give it a go. So sing along with me, that's the intention. Get your keyboards out, that is very important. Also, you can get my handwritten notes on our Patreon page. And before we get started, it'll be awesome if you can consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon for regular notifications. Let's get cracking. So for simplicity, let's just look at all of what we are doing on the key of D major. You'll find it written down in my notes. D major, 2 sharps, namely F sharp and C sharp. Also important to know the basic essential triads of the D major scale. So that would be D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, and then C sharp diminished, and that's it. So we'll ignore the C sharp diminished for now because we won't embellish or we won't do much with anything other than major and minor. And most songs tend to have major and minor chords in any case. Okay, so let's start with the first method, which is what I call as the static fifth chord. So you'll be playing a fifth chord in the right hand. You can play this fifth chord either in root position, that will be 1-5-1, or in an inversion. I tend to not play the inversion too high in the keyboard. I'll tend to play it here. The inversion would be 5-1-5. So this itself makes it a very earthy or a very folk-like way interpretation of playing the song of choice. So if you have the chord charts in front of you, let's say you're playing something like Amazing Grace, how sweet, and now the chord chart says D to the G and then D, and whatever the chords are, all I care about is the name of the chord. So I could literally look at the chords and don't play the whole chord. Just continue playing the fifth chord in the right hand, and in the left hand, all you have to do is just play the name of the chord as the bass. So it not only makes it work, it not only helps you survive a song without knowing triads, it also adds your own flavor and your own voicing, so it could complement the music. I also call this as a folk style of playing chords, or a folk voicing, which you'll find in a lot of instruments that use open chords like the banjo and the guitar and the mandolin, where you don't have to actually fret the notes the way the string is tuned itself. Like in a guitar, it will be E, A, D, G, B, E. Or in a banjo, it's literally tuned to the G major chord, right? So that style of playing with those open chords is essentially what we are doing here. We are developing our own open chord. And no matter what, we are pumping those notes and then adding one or two notes in the bass register, because the bass register is what matters at the end of the day. So if you take, let's say, Amazing Grace, how sweet, G major, the sound that saved a wretch like me. I'm just playing an A there. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. And goes on, Ta-na-na-na-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na-na-na, Everglow, ta-da-da-da-da-da-da, ta-da-da-da, ta-na-na-na-na-na-na, Everglow. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Yeah, and so many things. Fly away, oh Gloria. Fly away. And whichever rhythm pattern you choose for the song is up to you. That rhythm pattern is exclusive of the actual way we are playing the chords. Now, to make this fifth chord a bit more sophisticated, what you could end up doing is to add something in the left hand to each of the roots. So if you take D, you can add its fifth. I'll fly away, oh Gloria, fly away. Da-da-da, da-da-da-na-na-na-na, I'll fly away. This works really well for the minor chords, because now for a B system, you're playing B here, you already have the ingredients of not just B minor but a B minor seventh. And by adding that fifth, it adds a lot of color. There we go, that's your fifth. to color it up. And another thing I like to do is add a third. The thirds and the fifths, it'll be nice if you can map them out in your book. I have it written down in my notes so you could follow it. So like the third of A is C sharp and the fifth of A is E. So I fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. Da, 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 hallelujah, by and by I'll fly away. So you take the chord and add the third. So that's essentially the fifth ecosystem. It's very similar to playing a mandolin or a banjo. In fact, if you play Ode to Joy or whatever you want to play on the banjo, you'll have to keep a G and D ringing. And sometimes you'll even have to get a B ringing because the banjo is literally tuned as a G major chord. And with the guitar, if you place one finger, let's say on a G, or if you leave the last E string or the high E string open, you're essentially going to get E in everything. So you can get like an E major, A major, you can get a G major also with that E, you can get a B minor with that E, which gives you a B minor 11th, and so on. You can get a F major 7th, which has that E. So you're getting a lot of sophisticated chords by just being lazy, so to speak. You're not even playing that note, you're not even fretting that note. So this fifth chord technique comes from those instruments. I think I've just observed and played a little of those instruments and tried to get it on the piano. And on the piano, being a beast of an instrument, you can go far beyond depending on how much you practice. So let's move to the second way to embellish our major or minor chords. This would just be take whatever chords you have. Let's say this land is your land, this land is my land. Oh, this land was made for you and me. So it sounds very simple. It sounds like a folk or maybe a children's song also. So that's because you're playing simple triads. So if you just do one small thing, which is add a note to the triad, and the note I'm proposing you add is just the note closest to the root, diatonically closest. So that will be the add 2. It automatically just adds some color, a lot of color in fact. You're not playing a jazz chord, it's just a traditional chord. This sounds really good with inversion. So if you play D major like this and then choose to hit that E there, it's another sound. If you play D major like this and then you can add your E here, you can add your E here, and you can also arpeggiate it. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island. With just the 1, 4 and 5 chords. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. Yeah, this land was made for you and me. This land is there we go. Now you can do something more with the adds. Let's take another song. Amazing grace, how sweet. Now instead of playing G add 2, which also sounds good, I can do sweet. I can do a bit more colorful stuff by doing an add 4. That would be the C. So it makes it a more suspended, not really suspended because you're still keeping the third, but you're just adding the 4. So amazing grace, how sweet the sound. And maybe the second time I play the root, I could add the 4. So D add 4. That saved For the 5 chord, I would always want to do an add 4. So your options are add 2 or add 4. I once was lost, but now no 7s. I'm found, was blind. I can do like a B, 2 and 4 without the 3. Blind, but now I see. No 7s at all, no 9s, nothing jazzy about this. It's just adding. So you add the 2 or you add the 4. Okay, let's try it with maybe Everglow. Very good for ballads. This land is your land, this land is my land. Or even folk songs. Oh, this land. And when you arpeggiate it, it sounds even better. So decide what you want to do. So that's about add chords. Now let's move forward to the next way to embellish major and minor chords. So the next way is just stick with your 3 notes printed in front of you and decide from time to time whether you would like to add any kinds of slash chords. So slash chords, what it will do is it will alter the true root of the chord. So if you take D major with a D in the bass sounds very stable. It's also the tonic chord. It's the 1 chord. So it feels at rest. So what we don't realize is the same D major chord can sound a bit not at rest by playing a different bass note, not by inverting it. Inversions just make it the same. It's what you do in the bass which matters. So if you play D major, you have the opportunity now to play D major with a D bass, which is our default template, but I could also play that D with an F sharp bass. There we go. So now there's a tension and it actually wants to go to G major, see? So amazing grace, how sweet, grace, how sweet. It's a better lock, it's a better pull from grace to sweet. Amazing grace, that's D over F sharp, how sweet. Now when you go how sweet, you can do how sweet, how sweet. You could follow the melody. Literally every time the melody goes to a note, you could play a chord there and slash that. So just coming back to D major, D with D, we just call it D major. You could do D over F sharp, we say D slash F sharp. So slash chords are a bit difficult to read initially speaking because it's D slash F, so it's left slash right, but then what's the right note is what you play in the left hand. So there's some weird convention which confuses a bunch of us. So D slash F sharp means that F sharp you have to press in your bass and the D is not the note, it's the chord. So D major slash F sharp. You'll also be able to have D major slash A. So D major slash A would go to A major. So a nice way to practice it would be, let's put it with Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, that's D over F sharp, how sweet G, the sound that saved a wretch still D like me. You can even do a G major over A, just keep that A pumping like me. And that D over A pulls to A major, so does G over A, which also pulls to A major. Me. And just like that, you've got a A 11th sound, which is pretty cool. Me. I once was lost. Or I want D major, was lost, D over F sharp, but now G major over B just because I want to, or G major over D because I want to. Now I'm found. I like G over D. Now I'm found. Or now I like both actually. But if I do G over B, now I'm found. To do a G over B, A over C sharp. So A is the 5 chord, but I'm playing A as a C with the C sharp bass. Now I'm found. Was blind. That'll be a G over B. But now that's D over A. High. Normal A major. C. G major over D. Oh, D. Let's give it a play. Amazing grace. How sweet G. The sound. I like that F sharp. That saved a wretch like me. I once was lost. D over F sharp, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. G over D. Okay, you can do it for a gospel song. You can do it for any song, essentially. So that's about slash chords. So such a simple thing, right? The same 3 notes are retained in that chord, but you're just changing the bass. You're changing the root. The true root would be the name of the chord. G major, you see it printed there, you have to play G in the bass. That's not a rule, but sometimes in some very detailed slash chord compositions, you just cannot play a major chord. You cannot just substitute a slash chord like D slash F sharp with D major. That will actually sound wrong. That will be counterproductive. So you have to play D slash F sharp actually as it's printed. Also in an ensemble setting, or if you're a music producer, if you intend to play D over F sharp, and if you play F sharp in the bass in your piano, whatever bass instrument you program or compose or perform, it could be a cello or a bass guitar, that has to also play F sharp. Otherwise, again, it becomes counterproductive. And if a bass guitar plays F sharp and if you play D major, there's nothing that you can do to change the fact that it's D slash F sharp, because the bass guitar will dominate that register. It's a wide harmonic instrument in that region of frequency. So you have to understand what your other musicians are doing as well. So playing the piano in a bedroom piano kind of system, you're not going to know how to deal with, I guess, the real world. So if you're doing a song, try to find or figure out what the other musicians are doing as well. So I would encourage you to also play with other musicians, or maybe even a singer, if you can find a singer, to execute this. So again, on the reordering process, so if you're playing a song, if you're choosing to play a song in the deep ranges of the piano, a simple way to make it more sophisticated would be to use spread chords or spread voicing of chords. So if you were to play D major, don't play it ever as D F sharp A, F sharp A D, or A D F sharp. Sounds very muddy. So you want to do it D A F sharp. Tough to do with one hand. So I'd recommend to arpeggiate it and use this wrist motion to reach out to that F sharp. Also use the pedal so you don't lose out that first note. Now you have 3 ways of playing D major in spread position. You can do D major like this, starting from the root, starting from the 3rd, F sharp D A, starting from the 5th, 5, 3, 1. I've written this down, you can check it out. There we go. So that's your spread. So essentially when you're playing chords in the left hand, especially because the left hand's in the low ranges of the piano, right? You would want to play them spread, and this already will make the song sophisticated. So when I am down and oh my soul so weary. In fact, I'm now combining spread chords here with just the fifth chord in my right hand. When troubles come, that's D over F sharp, and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You're spoiled for choice here. There are too many options, right? So practice them. So it's more of a left hand thing. You could also do raise me up. It's used a lot in EDM songs, you know. Another trick with spread chords is you're doing 1, 5 and the 3 there, right? You could also consider stacking up the 1 again, so you get a nice thick sound. And if you float this around, you get some inner voicing. So now I'm getting a bit carried away. I'll reserve that for another lesson. Okay, so spread chords. So you might want to practice all of your spread chords in this key, in D major. D major, at least in the root position. F sharp minor, G major, A major. If you can't reach, use your other hand. And then diminished, descend. Okay, and if you're playing classical music, this is very, very important, because this is how classical music voices chords, and this is how orchestral music voices chords. So you have to know chords this way, and this is a bit weird because when you learn chords in a textbook method, they tell you that D major is D, F sharp, A. And the moment you have to learn an inversion, it becomes a big deal. I don't see why that has to be the next chapter of that book. Why can't you learn the same chord and all the inversions and maybe even the spread voicing all together, because they are all useful even at a beginner level. So sometimes when we look at chord theory for piano using the textbooks, it just slows you down. I think it definitely slows you down. So you have to watch out for it and look at the reality of the situation. It has 3 notes. Learn how to play the 3 notes in different positions. One method we learned earlier was slash chords. Then we said the close positions are rather muddy or simple or, run of the mill. So we spread it. And then we realize, hey, all these other musicians are just doing it that way. So why are they making this such a big deal? I don't understand. So I have one more way to color up your chords, retaining the diatonic world and not doing sevenths and jazz notes. It's basically thinking beyond tertiary voicing. Tertiary voicing is with thirds, and that's how our entire theory is developed. When you play a chord, what is it? Root, third, fifth. Well, that's not the only way to form chords. You can also form chords in fourths. You can also form chords in fifths. So the fourths voicing is something even I'm working on. I've composed a few pieces in recent times using what they call as Quartal voicing. And you also have Quintal voicing as well, which a lot of guitar players seem to like. So if you take just the D note to build Quartal chords around the D root, all you have to do is take D, form diatonically your fourths. So this one will be a rather spicy one because it has a major 7th, it has a perfect 4th, and then as you go along, E, E, A, D, then F sharp, B, E, then you do G, C sharp, F sharp, A, D, G, B, E, A, C sharp, F sharp, B, and then finally you come back to D. So triads and quartals. I don't see anything wrong with quartals, right? And then you have quintal voicings, which will be 1, 5 and another 5. More common for the left hands. Great for minor chords. You can also do the spread. This will be quintal. So let's see. Quintal. This is also your personal preference. If you actually want to play This Land Is Your Land with quintal voicing, let's now look at it with quartal voicing. This land is your land. Quite like that. You can even decide with respect to G which quartal will work. This land is your land. Not so good. This land is your land. Aha, that's quite nice. This land is your land. More color, I guess. This land is your land. Oops, not so good, I think. This land is your land. Too colorful. This land is your land. Yeah. So my options, I guess, are, that, your land. No, this one. This land is your land. This land is my land. I like that. Da 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 da. Da de 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 de. Or yeah, there are a lot of options, so you'll have to experiment. So what I'm going to leave you with a lot of notes. You'll also find my quartal harmony written down. So in a nutshell, we've looked at 5 methods to make your chords more colorful without the use of jazz extensions. Not that I don't like them, it's just that I wanted to make this lesson about the other stuff, which usually is not there in too many of the textbooks or courses out there. Okay, so there are a lot of other videos on chord voicings. We've done an entire playlist actually on spread harmonies, spread chords. There are a lot of videos on slash chords, the theory and also exercises to play them, also how to voice chords a bit better. I've used fifth chords exclusively in a few folk music lessons, so if you like folk music, you should check it out. In the description we leave you some lessons. And yeah, in a nutshell, we've looked at the 5 ways. First off, you have just a fifth chord in the right hand and you color it up with the names of the chords in the left hand. And then after that, you'd have the add chords where you're adding either the 2 or the 4. Then you have the slash chords where you change the bass to either the 3 or the 5. Then you have the spread chords where you go beyond the octave, so to speak. And then instead of forming chords as thirds, you do it as quartals or quintals. Quartal, quintal. Okay, so I hope you found the lesson useful. Do let us know in the comments what you'd like me to teach next, if you have any other suggestions, and also what you thought about this lesson. And if you enjoyed it, if you found it useful, do consider giving the video a thumbs up, There's a subscribe button as well. It's always been there. If you haven't hit it, it will keep being there until you hit it. So please hit it now. So the subscribe is there. There's also a bell for regular notifications because we release lessons weekly, at least twice. You'll always get 2 lessons a week. You may even get more. So hit that bell. And you can get my notes on Patreon too. Do consider doing that, and that'll help support the channel as well. Thanks a lot for watching the video. I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.